Okay, about 40 or so seconds left for the opening in NQ. Looks to be a fairly narrow opening. We're still alive on our short, and the crude oil didn't get stopped. Let's see if that can follow through on the gap. Again, both directions today are in play. Again, I'm kind of thinking about this as a wild card type day.
Order submitted.
All right. Orders are placed. Yeah. Looks like we'll have a multi-contract. Again, crude oil back to entry. If you didn't take it, you want to take it in here now. Okay, again, first target's down around 73s. And waiting for NQ to trigger.
Lefty cross. Lefty cross. Lefty cross. Lefty cross. ES discount turbo. ES discount turbo. ES discount turbo.
All right, might trigger to the north here.
Order canceled.
And we did. 29.50.
ESHPR bullshit. Lefty cross. Lefty
Okay.
cross.
Order submitted.
Okay, we're going to stop and reverse.
Lefty cross. Lefty
15.75.
cross. Lefty cross. Premium Turbo. CL Premium Turbo. CL Premium Turbo. CL Premium Turbo. CL Premium Turbo. Oil beer stacker. 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 Oil beer stacker.
Yeah, you should have sound, guys. I'm here.
Order submitted.
All right. Crude oil SNR. $55.26. Actually, $55.28. Jeez, I got freaking slippage. $26.28.
Crude oil HBR bullshit. Crude oil HBR bear shit.
Yeah, typical Monday morning. Balanced Monday morning.
ES bull stacker. ES bull. Crude oil HBR bullshit. ES bull stacker. Left D cross.
Oh, I got slippage on there too, huh? Great. All right, so we're long crude oil on a stop and reverse. We're short NQ on a stop and reverse. See how those play out. On a stop and reverse, be sure you disable your Auto X if you're using Auto X.
ES discount turbo.
So we're still long of crude oil here from 55.26. Again, kind of a typical Monday. All right. Again, when we get this balanced area in the overnight, as you can see here on the 60-minute charts, very balanced. And that typically makes for a kind of a challenging opening range. Nothing is off balance, okay, in the overnight, over the weekend. So nobody is jumping on the bandwagon to expand the opening range. So it just kind of meanders back and forth. All right. So when those events occur, when we get balanced openings, generally lead to kind of a double stop situation. But again, it's not always the case, but that's what we have today. All right, so double stops, fortunately, are fairly rare over a long series of trades. All right. How do you stop the chat from auto scrolling? Not sure. Yeah, so if anybody has any, chat functionality or how to view charts, etc., I do have a link. I did post a link up there. I'll post it again, actually. um, I'll do this a few times. Copy, paste. Okay, so there's your functionality, at least your setup for the screens. But if you have any further questions about anything else, like Mike C has a question about auto scrolling. I don't have that answer. So send that over to Marlon in the support room tab, and he'll get that right out to you. Okay, small little bug. Thank you, Marlon. All right. Again, Tom, ask Marlon. Come on. I don't have those answers, my friend. All right, David, your voice and tone reminds me of a pilot. Wear your seatbelts on range days. Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit. Please keep your seatbelts tightly fastened as we're going through an area of turbulence. We will let you know when it's free to move about the cabin. So we have a few folks filtering in early. Oh, wait a minute. Today is actually the beginning of the workshop. I'm sorry. My scheduled workshop is tomorrow. Today is actually the first day. This is a soft opening, I think Danny had mentioned. So again, welcome to everybody as you're filtering in. Tomorrow I will be doing my presentation in the workshop room. All right, itself. And I'll give you an overview. Actually, for those of you that are kind of filtering in, there's a number of links that I post first thing in the morning. One of them is the Trader Toolbox link. And this will give you a little bit of an outline of what you're seeing on the screen. Again, I'm not going to go over it in detail right now. I will tomorrow in the formal presentation. But if you want to watch that little short video, that will give you an idea of what you're looking at. I know some of you are return folks, so you're kind of somewhat familiar with the screens already. We've added a couple new little items. All right, but we'll go over that tomorrow. Keep your hands and arms in the plane, yes. Yeah, just one comment, in terms of, for those that are out there, in terms of the open range strategy and other various setups and trades that we do throughout the session as they arise. Again, everything that's posted here is of the model, what's referred to as the model strategy risk and trades, all right, that are displayed on the screen, and the risk that is set into the strategy. So right now on the opening range strategy, we're at $750 per sequence. Okay, not per contract, per sequence. So max risk. All right, and it auto position sizes accordingly. Sometimes we do one contract, sometimes two, sometimes three or four, but it's all within the stated risk parameter for the strategy. If that risk parameter, if $750 per sequence is uncomfortable to you, okay, again, I always recommend trade your risk parameters. Again, that's somewhat of a core disclaimer here, but it's always good to repeat. And if it's too much for certain individuals, then you don't trade the opening range. There's plenty of other trade setups that we have throughout the course of the day and week that actually have a better in many cases, a better risk profile. All right. Again, tighter that is, not necessarily $750 per sequence. Hold on a second. Okay, good morning, Just. Okay, Just got in. So we'll just be waiting for the, Mr. Market to kind of give us a directional clue here. Overall, right now, again, very quiet. Right around, you can see here on the main charts here, right around that 5-day point of control, right in the middle of balance zone, the value zone. And we get the 3-day central pivot zone. This is that magenta area you have right here. Okay, so that's what's called the 3-day central pivot zone. So everything's pretty balanced right now. And I don't see anything, what do we have, jobs numbers later on in the week? I think everything else is relatively, so, what's always potential, right, are the tweet bombs. All right, I think Marlin has even a feed now for that. It's called feed. So we have actually, if you don't have Twitter up, he has it, so we get the feeds. All right, if crude oil again gives us a little boost here, first target's around 55.52. We have first scale. Must I log into Twitter? Not sure about that. What do you need to log into Twitter for, Michelle? What do you think you need to log into it for? Twitter feeds. Yeah, okay. So there's a Donald Trump feed. It looks like it's called feed in the list. So if you click on where it says to PTG and bring it in, just to bring down the list, there's a room called feed, and I guess Marlin is just funneling in and filtering just the Trump tweets into the room called feed. Does that make sense? So let me show you. All right, while we're just sitting here a second. This is the alternate room that I have. Okay, so does everybody see this? All right. So I have two, again, just so everybody knows what I'm looking at on the other screen. All right. This is what I have on my screens. Okay, so I have the PTG feed over here to the left. And then just to the right of it, I have all the other feeds. All right. And so there's one called feed here. Okay. And where you find that is you click on the list and then it's in the list here. It says feed. Okay. And you just click on the little radio button if you want to have it display. Okay. Yeah. So this is what I do, by the way, right? So let me just shut this. Okay. And I have TweetDeck up here on the other side. But if you want to, like, if you're in our room here and you want to create a new, you want to watch other rooms, all right? I mean, you can do it all in one shot here, but again, it may be a little bit too confusing. What I do is I duplicate the tab, okay? Particularly if you're using Chrome. So you just duplicate the tab, all right? And then what you can do is move it out, and I just put it on another tab like this, another window, okay? And then that way you can see all the other rooms that are there. At the same time, you can isolate whichever room you want to isolate. In this case, if you're with us here today, you can isolate that room, or you can select, again, if I wanted to select PTG here, okay, on this one onto the right, I would just press on that little red radio button, turns green. Now you can see PTG as well. Again, I think this was Tom what was saying. He was saying it's a little more confusing. There's a lot of stuff on there. Okay. So if you want to just watch PTG, okay. So if you just right click on PTG, I'll show you. If you just right click on PTG and just say show only, okay, watch. Okay. Now it's only PTG that's coming through. Okay. And so that's the way to do that. Okay. Might be a little bit easier, to kind of navigate the rooms a little bit. All right, what you want to see. So you can kind of customize it somewhat to the way you want in here. All right. And if you want to send a private message, okay, so you can click on, so if I wanted to send a private message, say to Michelle here, all right, I could just click on Michelle's name, and then it turns in here. It says to Michelle. All right. So now we can directly communicate. Nobody else will see it. All right. And then to get back, just click back on PTG. Yeah, we're risk free. First exit on crude oil 55.52. All right. So we're risk free now. All right. So everybody see that? All right. So we'll just open it up for crude oil here. All right, so we took a short first. All right, we got stop and reversed long. Okay, at 55.28. First scale, 55.52. Okay, with the auto trader that we have, the stop automatically comes to entry point. All right, so we still have another target up here. If we want to get a runner, if we can get, if the crude oil can push out for a runner, we'll be shooting for about target 2 up here. Right now, once we get risk-free, right, as we have here, all right, stop comes to entry. So on this sequence, okay, on this long sequence, all right, we book something. We're risk-free on the balance of the position. Now, the way I run it is I will always push for a runner. Okay? I don't care what the market is doing. If once I'm risk-free, I'll always push for a runner. If it comes back down and stops me out, even on the balance, that's it. Okay? But once we're risk-free, we want to push for the runner. It's vitally important over the course of your trading to get runners, get outliers, because it's too, again, we'll have double stops, right, which occur and so forth. Um, Prices may not carry each and every time on the opening. So when we do have a chance to get our first target risk free, we'll always push, hold it for a push to the second, and we'll manage it accordingly. When we do get those runners, all right, again, it's vitally important to really do let them unfold, let them develop. Okay, so right now, um, we're still long of one. We position sized only 2 contracts here, but we got one out, and now we'll just see what happens with the balance. All right. Again, we're very disciplined to follow, our sets of rules. Does not prevent losers, but overall the strategy is over. Again, you can look at the history of the open range strategy on the spreadsheet that provided the link, and you can kind of navigate a couple different links there for different instruments, and you can see what the history has been. Okay, again, we have a certain set of rules. All right, occasionally we may tweak those rules, but right now, and we'll go over those tomorrow. And if you can't follow the trades themselves here on the screen, again, everything's transparent here, as you can see. If you can't follow the actual trades, what price, this, that, they'll all be posted to the website, to the spreadsheet, the summaries. Actually, the summary details. Okay, so you can all watch, you can all kind of review that. And I post them. All right, I do my best to post them as timely as possible. All right, for everybody here. And again, should anybody decide they want a shadow trade, which I'm not a, you know, I don't necessarily, I'm not an advocate of that. Again, until until you decide you want to be a member and learn the details of what we do. Um, Again, I'm not a proponent of shadow trading if you don't know what we're doing. Okay. Um, but if once we do, clearly, you can kind of follow along. All right, see what happens here on the crude.
Order filled.
All right, and there you go. All right, we got stopped on the balance. Okay, 56, 55.26. So, all right. Pardon my spelling, by the way. All right, so that completes the opening here. And what I do, all right, for full transparency is I take a snapshot, okay, of it as I'm doing right now. I just took a snapshot of it. None of this is after the fact. CLOPR. And then I'll post it to the spreadsheet with the image, with the screenshot for perpetuity. Okay. All right, so we're small gain on that one. And that completes the open range for September. I'll be back in just a couple minutes here. Is posted. All right, let me give you the. All right, there's a spreadsheet posting for crude oil. Warts and all this month. Actually, I think it was our first negative month. All right, so you can see the details of how that unfolded today. All right, so the OPR is complete for September. Charts just disappeared? Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah, so they did. All right, hold on a moment. Okay, hold on a moment. Let me refresh here. I have to refresh, and you should see the PTG charts back in the list.
One bull stacker.
Okay, you got it? Okay, just. All right, so let's see. All right, let me just do something here. My end.
ES Premium Turbo. ES Premium Turbo. ES Bull Stacker. ES Bull Stacker.
Just to raise the hands or however you want to do it. Just wondering just how many folks today, again, there'll be more folks